Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into Powerfleet's latest filing, and boy does it have some surprises. It's like finding out your GPS has been leading you to the wrong destination. But with money involved, before we start, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below for you to discuss. Powerfleet just released their financial results for the year that ended in March of 2025. And along with those results are some interesting things to note about their financial condition. Keep watching to follow along. We're going to check out Powerfleet's press release about their financial results for the fiscal year, the business year, which ended in March. We'll see how they did. Powerfleet stock, called common stock, trades under the symbol AOT on the Nasdaq Global Market. This means you can buy and sell shares of the company publicly. Now, this is a formality but important since the company said they are not an emerging growth company. The company held a conference call on June 16, 2025 to talk about the financial results from the last quarter, the period of 3 months, and the whole fiscal year that ended in March. A slide presentation, which is like a visual aid to explain the call, included as another exhibit. This report has some documents attached to it. One is the press release we mentioned and another presentation with slides. So Powerfleet issued a press release. Let's dive into what that tells us. It includes the financial results for the last year, and that's what we're mainly here to look at. All right, let's look at the numbers. We'll check the results from the report about how the business is doing with money. So we see that their total revenue, the total amount of money made for the year ending March 2025, was about $142 million. But let's compare this with the previous year. In the year ending March 2024, their total revenue was about $148 million. So this year they actually earned less than last year to the tune of about $6 million. That's a decrease of a little over 4%. That's like losing about 4 customers out of every 100 from the previous year. Now let's look at gross profit. For the most recent year, it was around $68 million. And for the year before, it was about $71 million. They saw a profit decrease of $3 million between those 2 years that represent a 4% decrease, matching the decrease of the revenue figure. Let's see where that money is going into too. Research and development expenses for the most recent year, which is money the company spends to find and create new technologies and ideas, was around $19 million. In the year before, research and development hit just around $18 million. Selling, general and administrative expenses is a big place where a lot of companies spend money. These are the costs to sell stuff, general operation costs and admin expenses to do all tasks. The figure for the most recent year we're looking at is just above $62 million, and the year before we see a very similar amount of just above $60 million. Operating loss, how much money did they lose before taxes, etc. from operations? For the most recent fiscal year ending in March 31, 2025, the company lost about $14 million. For the fiscal year ending March 31, 2024, the company lost about $8 million. That is a very significant increase in losses. It roughly amounts to increasing the amount of money lost by 70% approximately. The total amount of money lost or profit after all calculations. The most recent loss amount is $27 million, and the year before it was just above $15 million. A huge increase in the amount of money lost. That is a 75% increase in the amount of money lost across the entire year. Let's dive into what money the company has in the bank to pay all those debts owed. It shows $9 million in cash to operate with. Last year they had about $23 million. So that's a massive amount of decrease in terms of the money they can use to operate with on a day-to-day basis. Powerfleet throws in some cautionary notes. Basically they're saying, hey, don't take our word for it. Things might change. They use words like expect, estimate, anticipate a lot, which means they're making predictions, but those predictions aren't promises. Many factors are outside of their control. That means there are tons of things that can happen that would be completely outside of management's control. Keep that in mind when investing in them. A lot of potential issues are around that they do businesses internationally. Things can be tough when managing different countries and following different rules. Balance and the ability to protect its intellectual property. And their loss of key customers. Because if they lose key customers, it could be all over for the company. After a major risk also revolves around their ability to get extra capital to fund their operations and the ability to protect its intellectual property. An important fact to note is that this report was audited by Ernst & Young LL to checking all of these results. We need to make a judgment. Unfortunately, a lot of the details discussed here are not exactly great. Their revenue went down, and especially dangerous is the amount of cash decreases that put the company in a precarious position. The rising expenses of research and development is probably intended to alleviate future conditions, but there are no guarantees. Without a reasonable strategy, these trends are not looking good for the company. A lot depends on future strategies and whether or not they can execute it, and especially make sure not to lose too many key customers that would make the ship sink. Alright, that's our deep dive into Powerfleet's recent filing. What did you think about these numbers and what they say about where the company is headed? Drop your thoughts below in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out our Discord community for more discussions and insights. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.